Good afternoon and welcome to UBC Lunchtime News on this 19th day of February 2026. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto. We do welcome you to this bulletin. We start off with our first story this afternoon. The Ministry of Education and Sports has commenced the Senior 5 placement exercise for students joining advanced level, urging schools to properly guide learners in selecting appropriate subject combinations. Now, presiding over the exercise, the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Kedris, to the agenda called on school administrators to improve teachers' welfare and the overall teaching environment. We have the details.
Okusunsula abayizi abagenda okusoma ekibiina ekya siniya ey'okutaano kutandise era nkwakumala ennaku bbiri. Ministry The Senior 5 placement exercise commenced by the Ministry of Education and Sports targets to place 284,620 students in 2,826 secondary schools. Schools have set admission thresholds based on the performance of the 2025 UCE examinations.
Our selection we are selecting from A to D, because when a runner gets a D, he is able to have passed the subject. Therefore, he qualifies to get a certificate at the end of Senior 4. So we are taking runners both in arts and sciences from A to D.
In the 2025 UCE examinations, students performed highly in science subjects, prompting schools to raise the admission grades for learners intending to offer science combinations.
A student to be selected as a strong science student must have got AAA and at least AAB.
For Senior 5 selection, for the case of our school, the sciences we are selecting from A to B. Then arts we are selecting from A up to D.
School administrators have been urged to guide students carefully while selecting A-level subject combinations to minimize future errors.
This has become another area of contention. Some schools don't care. They admit so long as you can pay school fees. But when you look at the combinations, they are totally misaligned. And when those children finish their A-levels, they almost find it difficult to replace.
The Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Education and Sports, Dr. Kedris, to the agenda cautioned school managers about poor teaching environment which is affecting learners' performance.
The government contributes to the performance of the people we work with. When you have poor work systems and outdated practices, it affects the people you work with. When you inadequately supervise or support your staff, when you have poor communication regarding the instructions that you give, but also the feedback that you give. When people have been assigned work and they bring it back, what kind of feedback do you give them?
The ministry has threatened to take action against schools that fail to submit learners' continuous assessment marks and project work scores.
Who compiles it? Who submits them to them? So moving forward, if any learner is found to miss either project work or CMR, you, the head teacher, will be held accountable.
Learners who fail to meet the minimum requirements for joining A-level have been advised to repeat, while others are encouraged to join TVET institutions. Abdunasiri Lubwama and Regana Ahumza for UBC.
The international leader of the Salvation Army, General London Buckingham, has arrived in Uganda for a 6-day visit to strengthen faith-based initiatives and humanitarian work. During his stay, he will meet officers in over 40 districts and government officials to reinforce spiritual growth and expand community outreach. Founded in 1865 and active in Uganda since 1931, the Salvation Army has supported victims of the LRA insurgency, contributed to HIV/AIDS programs, and runs homes for children and people with special needs.
Available to yes. You saw in the brief officers from New Zealand, Fiji, and from the territory. That's good. But the Salvation Army is always looking for opportunities to partner and to work closely to bring about relief and help to the most vulnerable. We have to do that within the context of our own resources and what we're able to make available. Salvation Army, as you know or may not know, operates in over 130 countries around the world, and although it's administered by an international headquarters, we are completely dependent upon the local leadership teams and the governance boards for utilising the resources that are available to them to meet needs as they are able. We're learning more and more that we are unable to do it on our own, so partnering and collaborating with others becomes important to us, and we're keen to be able to do that without compromising our Christian ethic and the motivation for our work amongst the most vulnerable. Salvation Army's theological position sort of mandates us, compelled by love, not just the proclamation of the gospel, but a demonstration of it by caring for the needs of others. And that can be very locally based, or it can be a nationally arranged program, and much of that is initiated by those who have been entrusted with the leadership of the Salvation Army within the context of a country. So part of my visit, this is a long answer, isn't it? Part of my visit is to explore what's going on and to be able to report back where the needs are and how we might best continue to support the work of the Salvation Army in this particular country. So
we have seen General Alimama have arrived here in Uganda to be with us. I hope this weekend be a weekend of blessing. Amen. Amen. As we all be traveling to Mbale via the Officers Training College, we are going to have a nice time together. So we thank God for the gentlenesses that General Alimama and Chris have traveled well. It's my single honor and privilege as I want to welcome them so that they can share with us something that they have brought to us here at the airport.
our focus will be on the King of Kings. Our focus will be on the Lord. We will be waiting upon the Lord. And with a sense of confidence and a sense of anticipation, we'll ask God to come down by His Holy Spirit to bless us, to strengthen us, to equip us, and to enable us to be His people and to do His work of pointing people to the kingdom.
UBC Lunchtime News. In more stories this afternoon, alcoholism, cultural practices and traditions, illiteracy and poor leadership have been cited as the major drivers of insecurity in the region. Leaders in the Karamoja sub-region say education is the only sustainable solution in ending insecurity in the volatile area, which has long been characterized by gun violence and cattle rustling. They made these remarks during the second day of the African Union Amnesty Month outreach programs on voluntary surrender and collection of illicit weapons in the Karamoja sub-region. We have more.
Alcoholism, illiteracy, negative cultural practices and poor leadership have been identified as the root causes of insecurity in the Karamoja sub-region. This emerged during the Day 2 of the African Union Amnesty Month regional workshop and outreach program on voluntary surrender and collection of illegal firearms in the area. Corruption was also cited as a challenge in the implementation of government programs.
There is corruption. You are talking of dams. And our major problem in Karamoja are projects that are awarded from the center. You get the dam from the center. If you move around the entire Karamoja, you will get them incomplete. Completely incomplete. and colossal amounts of money have gone down.
Leaders called for collective responsibility among all stakeholders. Leaders further emphasized the need for compulsory education across Karamoja to deter the young generation from engaging in warriorism and cattle rustling.
Schools are there, but there are no people, there are no students going to these schools. So if we as community leaders, as parents, we can go back and enforce and get children out of mines and get children out of the cattle and make sure that they go to school, I am telling you that this problem is going to be solved once and for all.
And you need to cut that chain from the crowd then to join those who are in the bushes. This is like a recruitment center. Those boys in class, if they don't go to school, we are prosecuting this one, we are taking them to jail, but the recruitment chain is still rolling.
The 3rd Division Commander, Major General Wilberforce Selunkuma, officiated at the function.
Presidential pardon is still there. You bring the gun, go out. Encourage them to bring guns from the country.
The workshop was attended by security officials, political and religious leaders, elders and youth representatives. Thursday, the African Union Amnesty Month outreach will conclude with the destruction of firearms collected from the Karamoja sub-region. I'm Nafka Farida and Moriniga.
Emergency health care of the key components in health service delivery is being threatened by periodic blood shortage that causes preventable deaths. The Uganda Blood Transfusion Services collects 300,000 units of blood against 450,000 units required annually.
The country has frequently experienced and continues to struggle with blood shortages, an issue that affects health centers across the country. The most marked times for blood shortage include festive seasons and school holidays.
Studies have shown that excess blood is equally dangerous to the life of whoever has it. But whenever you donate blood, you minimize the risk of developing type 2 diabetes, minimize the risk of developing blood clots, you minimize the risk of being exposed to heart attacks or cardiovascular accident. You minimize the risk of unnecessary weight gain. You also minimize the risk of your liver failing.
Other factors that contribute to blood shortage are low donor turnout, funding and logistics, and factors like childbirth complications, surgeries, and high rates of malaria that drive the demand for blood.
During certain periods of the year, we are unable to realize the required quantity of blood, especially during holidays when students are not in schools. As you are aware, students are our biggest blood donor community. During festive seasons, when people are happy to go into festivities, and during holy months, like the holy months of Ramadan and Lent periods, the quantities of blood go down.
These shortages lead to preventable deaths where patients, particularly children with severe malaria, and mothers who get challenges during childbirth struggle to receive timely transfusions. The Uganda Blood Transfusion Services collects 300,000 units of blood against 450,000 units required annually. The public has therefore been urged to embrace the culture of donating blood in order to save lives.
Donating blood improves health. So many of our brothers and sisters are out there. They are moving, they are physically well, they are healthy, but they keep on saying, me, I cannot donate. Me, I fear when I donate, I might get a serious complication. I want to reassure you that Uganda Blood Transfusion Services has professionals that have capacity to assess everyone before they donate blood, and they have professionals that ensure that you remain healthy even after you've donated. And I would like to inform Ugandans that our blood matures even after 90 to 120 days. And whenever it has matured, it gets out of the body. It expires and it gets out of the body. How it gets out of the body? Your liver breaks down all the expired red blood cells and it sends them to elimination organs. And you remain healthy.
The most recorded times when Uganda had acute blood shortage are January-March 2018, December 2015 and early 2016, and December 2009 and early 2010. Adia Nakuche, UBC.
The Buganda Kingdom has urged the public to continue adhering to guidelines aimed at preventing the spread of HIV/AIDS in order to achieve the 2030 target of ending the disease. The call was made by the Katikiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, during the launch of the Kabaka's 71st birthday run held at Bulange.
The 13th edition of the Kabaka's birthday run, marking His Majesty's 71st birthday, has officially been launched. While presiding over the launch, Mayiga urged the public to take extra precautions to protect themselves against HIV/AIDS.
The need to abstain from sex, especially within young people. The need to test our status, especially as men. The need to take our medicine, the ARVs, for those who are positive, and the need for faithfulness for married couples.
He emphasized that although new infections have reduced, particularly in Buganda, people should not become complacent.
The infection rates have gone down, but a lot more needs to be done.
The UNAIDS Country Director, Kim Gustafson, noted that since His Majesty the Kabaka took the lead in championing the fight against HIV/AIDS on the African continent, significant progress has been registered.
I also want to thank His Majesty for being a UNAIDS Goodwill Ambassador for Africa to engage men and boys. From 2020 to 2024, the Buganda region has achieved a 21% reduction in new HIV infections, dropping from 18,400 to 14,500 cases.
The board chairperson of the Uganda AIDS Commission, Dr. Ruth Senyonyi, expressed concern over the number of babies born with HIV last year.
By December 2024, Uganda registered 4,700 new infections among babies. Those numbers are unacceptably high.
The 2026 Kabaka's birthday run will take place on the 12th April under the theme Men for Good Health to Save the Girl Child and Fight to End HIV/AIDS by 2030. Cayenne Faith and Andrew Sebida for UBC.
As the curtains fall on the African Union Summit in Addis Ababa, attention is now shifting from speeches to solutions. Leaders and business executives made one thing clear, that Africa's transformation will not be driven by governments alone, but by a bold and empowered private sector. From value addition to industrialization and trade wars shaping global markets, the message was consistent for Africa to take control of its resources and its destiny.
The conversation was frank, urgent, and unapologetic, as a high-level engagement bringing together policymakers and business leaders took shape. The chairperson of the African Union Commission, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, pointed to governance as the starting point for economic transformation.
Not only economic governance, but political governance, because economic governance flourishes when political governance is perfect and performant.
But beyond governance, he highlighted a deeper structural challenge of Africa's weak value chains.
And value chain cannot develop if we don't have regional pools. And regional pools can be developed between 2-3 countries. This is the motivation that we have related to the trade-guided initiatives in the framework of AFCFTA.
In a world increasingly defined by trade wars and aggressive global competition, he emphasized that empowering Africa's private sector is no longer optional. That call was welcomed by private sector players attending the summit.
As Africans, we keep on talking about the need to develop. The African Union came up with the Agenda 2063, but this agenda was designed mostly by the public sector, by governments. And yet the implementation of it, large part, falls with us, the private sector. And we've only been meeting at different points when one side or the other feels it's necessary to meet, but not with a long-lasting, sustainable, let's keep the wheels moving approach or attitude to implementing that agenda.
Kaheru acknowledged that African businesses have often focused on exporting raw materials for quick profits.
We've been making noise as the private sector, but who has been doing the exportation? We, the private sector. Why has the private sector been exporting raw materials? Because the doors have been open for us to do so in partnership with very many different multinationals who are our business partners, the ones who are invited and given tax holidays to set up business in Africa. Now, if we all stop and understand that as the private sector that is African in nature, you need to invest in businesses that grow the continent, then we will add value to our products as a deliberate measure.
The Africa Business Council also made a passionate appeal for deeper investment across sectors from energy and minerals to health and manufacturing.
It's time that we cut our gemstones and not send it outside the continent to be cut. The gemstones alone is $400 billion industry, while we only export $12 billion.
For now, the message from Addis Ababa is simple. Africa's growth will be business-driven, value-added, and homegrown. Henry Okrut, UBC.
UBC Lunchtime News takes a very short break, but we will return with more stories after these messages.
Somchara.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight, huh? For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later, huh?
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza, Commissioner.
Somchara.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight, huh? For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later, huh?
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get more goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
From that break, and now into business. Insurance sector chief executive officers this morning convened in Kampala to address a growing concern in the industry: fraud. The high-level engagement organized by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda was held under the theme "The Future of Insurance Claims Management in the Changing Face of Fraud." Industry leaders noted that fraudulent claims are increasingly becoming sophisticated, posing significant financial and reputational risks to insurers.
I want to tell you that claim settlement is the reason why all of us in the ecosystem exist. Let's give it our best so that we can solve that and we pay the clients in time.
It has been observed from various studies which have been made that fraud or fraudulent claims have increased. However, some of them have been detected before payment. Some of them have gone through up to payment. But that's why we encouraged the underwriters to develop a fraudulent register. They must share information when someone is recognized as having processed a fraudulent claim. We must keep track of their actions around all other underwriters or other insurance companies.
How serious is that? Is serious because it is increasing from the ordinary to now technological. So it is very serious that even detecting it, if you are not technologically equipped, you are not able to detect it. Claims are being filed on systems. So if you don't know the system, there is no way you are going to be able to detect the fraud. Then there is another question you asked that, of course, how serious also can be shown by the statistics. That with the regulator's report of 2023, the fraudulent claims that were reported with the regulator were around 400 million something. But when we come to 2024, they have almost doubled or tripled to 1.2 million. So it's a serious vice and it can eat away the industry.
To sports, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation has signed a memorandum of understanding to participate in this year's Corporate Games, a multi-sport event designed to promote physical fitness, mental well-being and brand visibility among institutions in Uganda.
The Corporate Games, scheduled to kick off on March 15th at Jeff International University, will bring together more than 50 companies from both the public and private sectors.
It is an angle of socializing, an angle of knowing one another. The institutions you don't know, we have never had, but when they join such, we get to know them. And when we get to know them, we work with them. At the end of it all, we have made a lot of money, some money in corporate events. Because their social interaction is not through knocking the office. It's all about there and then you talk and you share ideas. So for the angle of marketing, it plays a key role for this institution in terms of getting to know and also capturing new clients on board.
Chairman of the Corporate Games, Lauryn Masika, commended UBC for coming on board as a pattern in the 14 games. He emphasized the role of such events in enhancing brand awareness and strengthening marketing strategies, while also applauding Jeff International University for availing its facilities for both training and competition.
Outings from March up to November, and December we climax it with an awards dinner where we shall of course award those that would be outstanding through the season. We are running over 16 sports disciplines. We have introduced kwepena, we have introduced boxing, karate, other games like karaoke as well. We're making it more fun this season. We have dubbed it Season of Vibes. So we're excited that UBC is coming on board, but also other partners that have come on board.
Meanwhile, Ruben Impima from UBC Sports Department assured that the corporation's team is well prepared and ready to compete favorably across all the 14 games slated for this season.
We are ready to be part of this, and we are delighted and excited. We can't wait to kick that ball or to go into that pool and swim. And I want to thank Jeff International for giving us the platform we are going to play from. Like I said, I cannot wait. And as an institution, as UBC, we are very, very ready to face whoever comes our way.
The corporate games are expected to deliver a vibrant season of activities and entertainment running from March 15th to December this year. Robert Katamba and Ken Sanaba reporting for UBC News in Kampala.
And with that, UBC Lunchtime News has come to an end. Thank you so much for your company this afternoon. Do enjoy much more of UBC Television's programming. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto. Good afternoon.